Producer Sir Lewis Hamilton. Director and producer Joseph Kosinski.
Okay, so I'm so glad he's here finally on one of these Q&As with us, and so honored, I know we all are, to have him as our partner.
So to that point, Lewis, can you tell us, it must have been sort of a daunting prospect, because many F1 films have been made before, but nothing as authentic as this film. How did you ensure from your life experience the accuracy of what the filmmakers were producing?
Good afternoon, everyone. Good to see you all. I hope that you enjoyed the movie. Yeah, this has been like the most unbelievable experience, you know, just growing up in a normal home, watching film, dreaming of one day like somehow having some sort of part in a movie, and getting this opportunity to work with this incredible cast and team has just been the biggest dream. And I didn't know how much involvement I was gonna get when we first started talking, but it was full hands on deck. Like as soon as I was finishing up, when I was away from the track, we were working on the script. And everything in between, just trying to figure out how we can, because if you look at a lot of the movies before from racing, they just didn't quite capture, keep you on the edge of the seat. If you look at right back in the day from McQueen days, where they're like, the guys like laying on the front of the car filming, to now what you're seeing with the incredible evolution of technology with Apple and capturing those new cameras that they designed to capture different angles. Like, the footage we have from the cars are better than what you see when you watch Formula 1, you know? And I'm sure at some point Formula 1's, you know, I think pretty sure they're looking to see how we can get those cameras on our cars. But they're pretty heavy, aren't they? All the gear.
They're getting smaller all the time. So, yeah.
But you know, the FIA are making the cars heavier, so I'm sure they'll fit it in somewhere. But for me, it was just, when we first spoke, it was really just about authenticity, making sure that it's as authentic as it can be, and I felt a lot of responsibility, particularly because all the other racing drivers and people within the paddock would really, when we sat in Monaco to watch the movie, I was shaking, because I was like, okay, this is the first time everyone's seeing this, and the response from all the drivers and everyone in the sport was amazing, and throughout the world as well, just seeing how people have loved watching it, it's been a privilege.
Yeah, it's been amazing to watch the excitement grow over the summer for F1 too, because of this movie. Jerry's crash is based on the crash in Bahrain in 2020. It just looks absolutely incredible, that whole scene. And talking about the silences, when the music, I think I'm gonna cry thinking about it, when the music came down during that crash, we all know what silence means on a racetrack. It was, can you talk a little bit about creating that scene?
Can I just correct you? It wasn't actually it was the Bahrain scene, the car in flames. We utilized that. Yes. But there was actually a crash in I think it's Formula 3, in the same corner in practice, where a kid hit the curb and actually flew and landed up on the tires. So we took that kind of shot as the inspiration for that one. But of course, all the flames is what we saw in Bahrain.
I spoke to a driver before shooting that scene who had been in a situation like that, and really took in how, you know, it does become fight or flight, and you instantly think of what you need to fight for in order to get out of the car during those precious moments, and your family and everyone you're fighting for. And he explained to me of that moment of potentially giving up, and as soon as he told me that I knew how to play it. And I was in the fire for real, by the way.
You know, it's kind of crazy. We have to do a test at the beginning of the year. When we get to the first race, we have to do a jump out of the car test, and you have to get out of the cockpit with, you know, they time you. You have to be within 7 seconds, taking the steering wheel off, getting out, putting the steering wheel back on. But of course, since they introduced the halo, that gets harder, because it's harder to get out of the cockpit with the halo.
What's the halo?
The halo is the big, ugly thing that sits kind of around the top of us. It's called a halo.
That's a safety thing in race cars.
Yeah, and it came in, I don't know, 2016, 17 maybe. and it was something that all the drivers were against because it looked so ugly. So before it kind of looks a little bit like, you know, those kind of sliders, flip-flops, the bit that goes between your toe. And none of us liked it, but the improvement in safety was like 17% or something like that, so we couldn't deny it. And it's been great, and we now get used to it. But when that crash in Bahrain, that was one of the things that made it really difficult for him to get out, because it's between the halo and the barrier. So he was in those flames for a lot longer than any other drivers of recent times.
It's excruciating, and kudos to Kerry and the ensemble, because it's their reactions that are terrifying us. And your physicality, you know, when you come out of the fire, like we know before we see your mama bandaging your hand, that, you know, so can you talk a little bit about the physicality of that?
Well, it was a kind of limpness that we kind of played. A lot of it, I remember I was putting all my weight on you.
He's fucking heavy.
Brad was pissed. But it was so real. Yeah, it was it was a great scene. But no, yeah, that state of mind was terrifying, you know, and the flames were really going, and the silence that was on screen, it was there on that day too. Everyone was safe, but everyone understood how important this moment was, not only for the film, but for the respect of the sport, because so many people have been in that situation. Yeah.
So I want to
I
talk
just add
before.
also, just sorry to interrupt you, it's the psychological element of like then getting back in, which Damson had to do from a crash like that. It's not easy to get back in the car and give it everything and have the trust and kind of let it go. You know?
But I think that's a